Hello, future people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're checking out The Children of Magneto. So, people that are only familiar with these characters from the MCU will immediately be going, what? In actual Marvel Comics canon, these guys are actually the Children of Magneto. It kind of gets changed a few times where they are and they aren't, and then they are and then they aren't. But yeah, totally the Children of Magneto. Reason that didn't happen in the movies, yet at least, is because, well, quite frankly, they didn't have the rights to the X-Men, so they changed the story. So, this is another box from Marvel Crisis Protocol. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, two very important characters, I would argue. These did get released last year alongside the X-Men releases. My intention is to put them with my Avengers stuff. But quite frankly, look, these are just characters that I really want to paint up. Especially Scarlet Witch. I really, really like how she's been done in the MCU. I don't exactly know how I'm going to paint her yet. I might try to lean towards the movies a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I am supposed to be doing all of this stuff as like comic book style, but I don't know. It's just one of those questions. I don't really have the answer to that yet. All right. And here we go with the front of the box. Again, much like the last one we looked at, I am a fan of the way that they do the actual comics. They kind of, the boxes feel like one of the comics from the 70s or the 80s with like, it's just, I don't know, like you've got up here is where the old logo and everything used to be, and it's very clearly a deliberate choice on their part. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, very much sculpted to look like the comic versions of these characters as opposed to something from the movies. I do kind of hope that we get more actual MCU stuff coming in the future. I mean, I know that they've got a couple that lean towards it, but I'd love something a little bit more, hey, this is directly from the movie type stuff. Even if they can't do the actual faces of the actors and just go with the characters but with outfits from the movies, I'd really like to see that. All right, let's have a quick look at the instructions first. Looks fairly straightforward, actually. Surprisingly, her head and her cape appear to be one piece. That's a nice surprise. Like, massively nice surprise. The magic all around her is definitely going to be the most vulnerable part of the model. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in person. Quicksilver looks fairly straightforward. And again, he's someone that you can build without it. Likewise, here we have Scarlet Witch. You could very easily just ignore the magic. Very, very easily. And Quicksilver. You could very easily ignore the stuff on the ground. That's brilliant. I like the fact that they continue to do that. All right. First things first. Can I borrow that? Feels very much like something from the movie. Loving the art. I can't quite tell what he's borrowed. I assume it's the bow. I quite like that. Difficult to please. Well, yep, that is definitely true of Magneto. They never could please their father. Gorgeous. If people would like to actually read the rules on these cards, please feel free to pause the video and read through them. I haven't had a game of Marvel Crisis Protocol for a while, so I don't really feel confident in saying how they would affect the meta. This is gorgeous. I love this piece of artwork. This is really nice. And this one actually comes with a mission. So, research station has been attacked. Nice. Quicksilver up first. Again, gorgeous artwork. Pietro Maximoff. Absolutely, absolutely stunning. And then on the other side, he's a little bit torn. He kind of looks a little bit worn out, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't look quite as damaged as most of the others tend to. And then here we have the Scarlet Witch, looking absolutely stunning in the artwork again. I don't know, maybe I should just go for this. I don't know. Oh, I'm in two minds about it. And on the damaged side, she looks angrier more than anything else. I mean, yeah, there is some worn bits in the outfit, but basically it's just that little bit on the belly, really. Otherwise, she just looks really angry. Which, if you know the character of Scarlet Witch, makes a lot of sense. She's a character that's not entirely very stable. And the regulatory tokens. So some of these will be specific to the character. Some of these will be generic. Really nice. All right. So first things first, we come across the bases. So these are our smaller bases. Don't throw these pieces out. These are rubble to feature on your bases if you would like to. Throwing these out is a mistake that a lot of people make. Don't do it. They're actually really helpful to try to make these not all look the same, because you end up getting a lot of sculpts that all look the same after a while. So these help you break them up and make them look different. I'm not sure if I really have a favourite. I don't know. They all fit very much in together. I do like the flagstone look. It does feel very New York. I think I prefer the ones with the sidewalk, personally. I don't really know if I don't really know if I have a favourite, but they are absolutely gorgeous. Let's have a look at Wanda first. So, first things first. The magic is very thin and spindly. That is definitely something you're going to want to be very careful about. So, yeah, this magic-wise is very, very thin. You're going to want to be very careful with it. This continues to impress me, though. The head is actually connected already. That is a really nice touch. The hair is separate, but that kind of makes sense for the moulding, honestly. Detail on the legs is really nice. There's not really... Some of the figures in the past have been just a little bit soft in detail. Venom comes to mind. I honestly love the sculpts of... There are some people that hate on this game, reckoning that the sculpts just aren't good enough, but I don't feel that way. The hex plug in the body is interesting. I guess at least that way you can guarantee that it's not going to be built the wrong way. It seems like an interesting choice, because I don't think there's really a need for it. Otherwise, honestly, this looks amazing. I think I am going to build mine with the magic. Even though, by rights, it's going to make parts of it a little bit more fiddly. I just think it looks too good not to do that. Pietro, by comparison, is much, much smaller. Like, he's not even a half the size of Wanda. It's ridiculously smaller. The actual body itself is in scale, don't get me wrong. He just doesn't have the massive piece of magic going everywhere. All he has is the arm moving really fast animation. Otherwise, again, really nice sharp detail. The muscles in the legs are really, really well done. It really makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to find... Oh, there it is. Head's in one spot. In one piece, rather. So this is going in the middle of that. And then the bottom of the leg here will connect in there by the look of it. This looks absolutely stunning. Very, very impressive. Again, they have designed it so that you don't have to have this in there if you don't want to, but I think it just makes sense, personally. All right, and here we are with the built characters. So this is Wanda. This is just as flimsy as I feared it would be. You are going to want to be very careful with this. Realistically, depending on how you pose it, you could probably almost actually just glue it to the hands. Unfortunately, one thing is I can't get it to go and fit in a way where it's going to just magically be having her hands in the center. That was just impossible. Even more so with this one. But yeah, due to the nature of this, is extremely flimsy, and I don't imagine that this is going to survive for very long. It's just, it is what it is, unfortunately. It's just the nature of this sort of styling. It does look really, really nice. But, yeah. Now, Pietro Quicksilver is absolutely stunning in the way that they've sculpted him. But it just works really, really well. The thing I did figure out pretty quickly is that if you want to build this as it was, you kind of need to sit him on his base like this while he's drying, or just hold it, because if you try to put it like this, everything will just fall over. Until that glue is actually set to a point where it can hold the weight of the rest of the figure, you need to kind of lean this up against something, which is basically what I did. But as far as size is concerned, now I did kind of suggest that they were the same scale, and obviously they are. The pose is very different, but they are basically the same size as each other. For comparison, this is She-Hulk that we also unboxed recently. She is larger, as you would expect her to be, but it just gives you a bit of an idea for the actual scale for both of them. It's just absolutely stunning. So there we go. That's the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, or Wanda and Pietro Maximoff. Characters that I definitely wanted to have a look at the moment they were announced. Like I said in my previous video, Marvel Crisis Protocol is a game that I was extremely excited about when it first got announced, and that never really went away. I kind of dropped off during the pandemic because I wasn't playing anything. And then I got excited about things, and it took me a while to get back to the game. So I bought a few things recently to try to bring up the forces I want to use up to modern day. So that's what you've been seeing me unbox. And I'm looking forward to actually getting some games in. Should be happening next week, hopefully. You've made it through to the end of another video. Your next mission is to hit subscribe and comment down below. If you'd like to reach out to the team, consider doing that, gettingtabled@gmail.com. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. For only $2 a month, you get early access to almost every single video that we do. Our most active social media is facebook.com/gettingtabled. It's where you'll find everything first. There's also a Discord. There's an invite on screen right now. If you type that in, it'll give you instant access. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. It's not the most active, but it's something we're trying to use more all the time. Come and check out Jason the Bruce at Twitch. He does both video game and hobby content. And of course, without question, play more.